Are you or someone you know looking to buy or sell a home? When you use a HomeGain Realtor to buy or sell a home, you can get $150. Visit homegain.com and click on the Promo 150 banner at the top of the page to get started. Compare HomeGain Realtors and choose your favorite. Complete your home purchase or sale transaction with a HomeGain Realtor, and HomeGain will pay you $150. Get started today by going to homegain.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Real Estate 360 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Sloper, joined today by my guest, Louis Cammarosano, the general manager of HomeGain. Quick reminder that if you have any real estate, credit, finance-related questions, the best number to reach out to us is 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. So I want to jump back into the last reason why many real estate deals are falling apart, and that's just a lack of transparency. You know, whether it's a seller or an agent not disclosing, property issues, possible title defects. It could just be by, a buyer trying to put something by an underwriter on his loan, not disclosing something properly. It's just a lot of things. People think that you can cut corners, and in your mortgage that you're applying for will go through, or that, the real estate transaction will go through. And it's just not the case anymore. Things are so tight, especially on the lending front. It's very hard to get a home loan these days if you're on the border of, good credit scores and bad credit scores. It means that a world of difference. And, just because you think it's not a big deal, you should probably make sure that you're giving all of the info and being completely honest and upfront to all parties involved when you're doing a real estate deal. Wouldn't you agree, Louis?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's like, it seems like it's such a basic thing. But if you don't tell somebody, I had this other part-time job, but I didn't know if I could count it, right? Well, if you've had it for the last 2 years and you've had income, then you can count that, and if it's likely to continue. So little tiny things that, people think that it's not important to say, it probably is. Or, you have, there's certain programs out there where a person's family member could pledge a certain amount of their assets towards a borrower to give them credit. So there's some quirky things out there, but, without knowing all the information and whether maybe a family member has a means to give a person a down payment. I mean, there's just so many little things there. The important thing is just make sure that you're, working with a professional that can ask all these questions, these probing questions that can make sure that you're getting a good deal and that your deals won't fall apart. If all parties involved, the agent, the loan officer, title company, if they all work in conjunction with each other and they all know what they're doing, then you shouldn't have any problems. But these are just some of the pitfalls. 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. Now it's time for this week's Credit Fix segment with our credit expert, Rondi Lambeth. He basically every week is going to give us the facts about credit and what the big banks and credit bureaus don't want you to know. This week, he's going to be telling you about bankruptcy and how that can affect your credit. So go ahead, Rondi.
Hi, this is Rondi, certified FICO credit professional and your local credit expert, bringing to you each and every week what I think the banks, the credit bureaus, the nasty collection companies, what they don't want you to know about your credit score, and what actually happens behind closed doors. One of the questions I get all the time is, how many points does a bankruptcy impact my credit score? Now, the media, the banks, the credit bureaus, the collection companies, even I think our own U.S. government, what they want you to think about bankruptcy is when you file bankruptcy, you lose everything. Just like in that board game that you used to play when you were a kid. When you filed bankruptcy or you were bankrupt, you lost everything. But that's not real life. In real life, here's what actually happens. You keep your house, you keep your car, you keep your job, you keep your retirement plan, you keep your savings, you even get to keep your wife or your husband and your kids. Because the number one reason for divorce and suicide in the United States, the number one reason for suicide, folks, is credit card debt. So the only thing you don't keep when you file bankruptcy is your debt. It's forgiven. It's forgiven forever. So I highly recommend, if you're struggling with debt, if you're over your eyeballs in credit card debts and you don't know where to turn, Look to your local bankruptcy attorney. They can help you. They help millions of people each and every year. In fact, I filed bankruptcy not only once, but twice. And you know what? The worst decision I made was I waited too long. I used my savings. I used my retirement. I cashed out my 401k. I did a refinance on my house to pay off my creditors. Worst mistake I ever made. It doesn't hurt your credit that much. It's just a matter of a few points, maybe 25 or 50 points. It's the same as a $5 parking ticket, the same as a collection, a medical collection. So don't wait. If you're struggling with debt, if you're up to your eyeballs in credit card debt and you don't know where to go, look up your local bankruptcy attorney or in fact, listen to this show, because on this show, we got a bankruptcy attorney that can help you and it can help your family get out of debt. And most of the time, you can be debt-free in as little as 100 days. Imagine that, debt-free in 100 days. And most of the time, the bankruptcy will actually improve your credit score. And best part is you have a friend in the credit business. You can hire me to help you. I'll teach you how to fix it. Go to the website. I'll teach you for free. But if you want to hire me, I guarantee you in the next 90 days, once you file bankruptcy, I'm going to fix almost 100% of your items on your credit report. And if I don't, you're not going to pay me a dime. Most of our clients file bankruptcy. 6 months later, they got a 700 plus credit score. They're out buying cars and houses and living the life they've always dreamed of living. So do yourself a favor. Give the bankruptcy attorney a call. Find out what your options actually are. I'm your credit coach, Ronnie Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional, bringing you the truth each and every week. And it's the truth that's going to set you free.
Wow, thanks, Rondi. I mean, I think that's really informative information, especially for people out there, because I know that there's a lot of people that are drowning in debt. And, they're trying to figure out what the best course of action is. And, I've actually spoken with Rodney on numerous occasions about bankruptcy. And, he's like, it's a financial tool. I mean, you figure Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump, I mean, many of the world's, top financial leaders or political leaders have filed bankruptcy. And, it's if you understand bankruptcy and what it does for you and not let yourself completely wipe out your savings like he had mentioned, it can get you back on a path to prosperity versus not doing this. The important thing is reaching out to a bankruptcy attorney ahead of time to figure out, is it for you? I can give you, get you in contact with a good one that's in your local area. Just reach out to me at 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. Lewis, the interesting thing is, too, I always get the question, how soon can I buy again after I go through bankruptcy? I mean, I think people think that they have to wait 7 or 10 years before they can buy again. You can buy again from the discharge date of that bankruptcy 2 years later. So, but the caveat to that whole thing is you have to have reestablished credit, and you have to be on the path where you haven't missed any bills since that bankruptcy discharge as well. So it's just important that you're working with a team of people that are going to help you. I mean, he's literally saying 6 months after bankruptcy, you can have 700 credit scores. And, I've worked with Ronnie numerous times, and we've seen those results. It's kind of crazy to think that, you can actually go through a bankruptcy and come out on the other side better than you were.
Isn't that the point of bankruptcy, is to restructure debt?
Yep.
So the person can pay what they can and get back on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely. But most of the time what hinders people after the fact, Lewis, is their credit. Because what happens is the creditors, they never follow the law about the way they're supposed to report or stop reporting. Ronnie's actually explained to me that, from the time that bankruptcy is filed, the creditor shouldn't be reporting anymore. Well, they continuously keep reporting, and they keep reporting lates, more lates, and more lates. And since they did that, they basically, in essence, were breaking the law. And so when he goes back and tries to negotiate to get things off the report, that's exactly what he's saying in his letters. You weren't reporting according to Fair Credit Reporting Act laws, and you must remove this information.
That seems to be the key, is making sure that what's on your report should be on the report according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act.
Yeah, and most of the time, see, that's where people screw up, is that they actually try to argue, hey, I wasn't late on that card, okay? You don't want to get into a situation where your word versus the banks or creditors, because you're never going to win, because the creditors pay the credit bureaus. You don't. So they're always going to side with them. However, if they're not reporting things according to, the Fair Credit Report Act and other state laws, then it must be removed, and it must be removed permanently. I get great satisfaction in seeing somebody that, has to go through, having their credit damaged because creditors are doing that, and they go through bankruptcy, and then all of a sudden, they're thinking they're never, ever going to be able to buy a house again, and then go through, you work with Ronnie, get your credit fixed, and then, 6 months to a year later, be able to buy a home. And it's not just for the home either. I mean, we're talking, you have a 700 credit score. Now, when you go to obtain an auto loan, or if you're out there trying to get another credit card, your interest rates are going to be a million times better. I mean, the difference, you probably can't even get a credit card if you've got, sub 600 credit scores. But if you've got 700 plus, you're probably going to be getting offers left and right from different companies, and you're going to be able to negotiate your terms versus just having to accept them.
Brian, do those special debit cards count for establishing credit?
It can. It depends. Like most
credit cards will give you that.
Yeah, most of the time too. Like for people that are struggling, trying to get a new trade line, the best advice is go to your local bank that you bank with, that you have a checking and savings account with. You tell them, look, I know my credit's kind of banged up, but I really need to get credit reestablished. Tell them that you want a secured credit card where basically, for $200 or $300, you can give them the money. They'll give you a credit card, and that will start rating your credit positively. You're having to front the money, but it's a secured card, so it's really no risk to the bank. But that's the best thing that you can do if you're getting turned down everywhere else.
Won't they eventually then put you on the road to issuing you credit?
Exactly. Yeah, because once they see that you're making, you're doing fine with that credit card, they're going to give you a real one. But you just need to get that first card to really get you underway. 877-245-2030. If you want me to give you the link to a couple different secure credit card that I know that you've used for clients in the past, I'd be glad to do that for you. We're coming up on the end of the show, but Louis, I want to thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it. And if homeowners out there want to go to search for agents, where can they go again?
HomeGain.com. It's the best place to go to help select a realtor, get the value of your home, or to search for listings, or to check out our recent surveys on the direction of home prices and homeownership satisfaction. And we also have a FSBO versus Realtor survey, which has some surprising results that shows you have a 50% better chance of getting your home sold when you use a realtor than when you go FSBO.
Awesome. Thanks, Louis. I really appreciate it. Have a great week.
Ryan. You too.
All right, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to Real Estate 360 Live. We will be back again next Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. I hope you guys all enjoy and have a great week. Until next week, we'll talk to you soon.